You know, it's kind of humbling for us to think about all of the work that Dr. King did in his short life, and how much we are in need not only of his guidance and his wisdom and his example, but we as people who believe in God, who believe in a universal message that was sent through many messengers, have assumed also that within the scheme of what Dr. King was talking about, and maybe I might say that if Dr. King were here today, he would be talking not just about racism, but environmental racism. That if Dr. King were here today and he were talking about militarism, that might be police brutality. If he were here talking about militarism, he would be talking about the 1% and the 99%. And so now we see the triple heritage coming to birth in our time and saying to us, we have a problem. We have a problem because the Quran teaches us, فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. Every atom's weight of good that you do, you'll see it again, but every atom's weight of waste that you have is going to accumulate. We will see it again. We will see the errors of our inaction or the reward of our actions. The Prophet Muhammad said, don't waste water even if you're by a river. I want to introduce you, you may be familiar with the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. I'm going to tell you right now, probably what we need to do, we need to reduce the number of racists who are in office. We need to stop reusing the same old politicians every election cycle. And definitely we need to start recycling the polluted politics that exist today as a status quo. So I'm for the 3 R's, Arthur. I want to reuse. I want to get some recycling going down the hall. But our army is too small. Look around. Look around. Part of the army is missing. I would feel reluctant to say anything today except that I'm on Facebook and Twitter Live so that the missing part of our army, where's the hip-hop army today? Come on, where are they? Fruit, where are the Nation of Islam today? Where are the rest of the progressive people in our community? Where are they today? We have left the house abandoned so that these hobos can establish themselves in Washington. It's become a billionaire hobo house in Washington. I'm telling you right now, we have never had more billionaires in the cabinet in the history of America. I'm not going to talk long, but I will assign you a task today. You and I need to get up, get out, stand up, speak out, and get you and your coward neighbor to come and join you. You got a neighbor. You got a good neighbor. Some of you got good neighbors. Minister Farrakhan said there are a lot of good people in the world, but a lot of them are good for nothing. Go out and get your good for nothing neighbor who's complaining and whining about what happened on election day. Tell him it's his fault. Because Dr. King said there comes a time when silence is betrayal. Our neighbors betrayed us when they stayed home on election day. I got news for you. Those of you who enjoy the wonderful health care in Congress, they have elections every 2 years. Before you know it, some of you are going to be recycled into a new, they call it a cooling off period. We're going to put you in the cooling off period room. Some of you who are part of this audience, either live or somewhere else, you need to run for office. I don't mean you should become a candidate. You need to start running right now for office, because we've got to put a new sheriff in town. I'm telling you now. Arthur, you had us doing some singing earlier. I want you to sing with me now. Because sometimes we forget while these robbers, and by the way, the most insidious thing about the existing administration, they're not only robbing the environment, they're not only robbing black people, they're not only trying to rob the energy that comes from the new immigrants who are coming to our nation. They're not just robbing the normal cohort, they are actually robbing poor and working class white people. Now it's got to be criminal when in the name of racism you rob poor white people. And Arthur, you are exactly right. I knew that poor people who used to mine coal in West Virginia, I knew they were suffering. I didn't do anything about it. I knew that there were poor and working class white people who lost everything in the economic downturn. I didn't care. I was trying to get my Black Lives Matter on. I knew that there were people who their houses were underwater, middle class white people. I started saying, well, they had it good for a long time. Why are they crying now? I knew it. I didn't do anything about it. And now you get all upset when somebody tells them, you're poor and the system is rigged. And then they turn around and rob them in their racism. Brothers and sisters, we have a lot of work to do. And I am afraid of what poor and working class white people will do if they don't get what they were promised. So I ask God Almighty to strengthen you. Reach out. We need a poor people's march where we go into West Virginia and some of these Rust Belt places and learn how to organize white people who are going to lose their health care. The thief that's in the White House. If you think what happened before is bad, you wait until you see what these people will do if we're left alone. By the way, that 30-second thing been up for a long time. May God bless you, strengthen you, and make his face to shine upon you and give you peace. This land is your land. I want you to sing, this land is your land. From California, from the Redwood Forest, this land was made for you and me.